The sun rises over the quiet city and the first light touches the sea. The air is calm and everything seems peaceful. But far away, a dark storm waits to test the brave. A young hero prepares to leave his home. He looks at the waves and feels a mix of fear and excitement. He knows the journey will change him forever. The boy walks to the harbor and sees his mentor waiting. His eyes are full of wisdom and courage. He smiles and says nothing. The boy feels ready to follow him into the unknown. They climb onto the ship, and the sails catch the wind. Slowly the city fades from view, and the horizon opens before them. The sea is wide and the waves move like giants. The boy grips the ropes and watches his mentor steer the ship with skill. Each gust of wind brings a challenge. Each shadow on the water hints at mystery. They pass islands that hide secrets. Some are dark and some glow under the sun. The journey tests their patience and their hearts. Night falls and the stars guide them. The boy lies on the deck and looks up at the sky. He wonders what waits at the end of the journey. Will he find what he seeks, or will the sea take him? The wind whispers stories of old heroes and ancient trials. The boy feels small, but his heart beats with hope. Suddenly a strange fog appears. It moves like a living creature around the ship. The mentor stands firm and guides them carefully through the fog. They see shapes of islands and cliffs. The boy wonders if the fog hides danger or a hidden treasure. The air is full of mystery, and the sea holds its breath. A small island rises from the mist. The mentor nods, and the boy feels a shiver of excitement. They anchor the ship and step onto the shore. The island is silent, and the ground is covered with stones. Some stones seem to move when touched. Some shadows follow their steps. The boy holds his breath and waits for the mentor to act. The mentor points to a path that leads into the forest. The boy follows slowly. Every step feels like stepping into another world. The trees are tall and the leaves glow under the faint moonlight. Strange sounds echo in the distance. Owls cry and water flows somewhere unseen. The boy feels both afraid and fascinated. In the heart of the forest, they reach a clearing. There stands an ancient statue. The eyes of the statue seem alive. They look at the boy and the mentor. Without blinking, the boy feels a power in the air. It is silent but heavy. He understands this place tests more than strength. It tests courage and wisdom. The mentor kneels and touches the statue. A hidden door opens below the roots. The boy sees stairs leading into darkness. His heart beats fast. He wants to look away, but curiosity pushes him forward. They descend slowly, and the air becomes cooler. Each step echoes like a distant drum. They reach a chamber full of strange symbols. The symbols glow faintly. The boy feels a presence in the room. Something watches them, but does not move. The mentor studies the symbols and speaks quietly to the boy. His voice is calm, but firm. He tells the boy to pay attention to everything. The boy watches the symbols shift and form patterns. Some patterns tell stories. Some warn of dangers, some promise rewards. They walk deeper into the chamber and find a pedestal. A small crystal sits on top. It shines with a light that seems to come from within. The boy reaches out, but the mentor stops him. His hand hovers above the crystal. He feels a wave of energy pass through him. The crystal seems alive. It responds to his heartbeat. It waits for someone brave enough to take it. The mentor nods at the boy and steps aside. The boy takes the crystal and feels a surge of power and responsibility. He knows the journey is only beginning. The crystal will guide them, but it will also challenge them. The fog and the sea are not gone. They will face storms and trials beyond imagination. They leave the chamber, and the forest seems calmer now. The island releases them as if satisfied. The boy looks at the mentor, and they both smile. Without words, the ship waits at the shore. They return to the sea, and the wind catches the sails. The horizon stretches endlessly ahead. They are ready for the next part of the journey. The adventure continues, and nothing will be the same again. The boy holds the crystal tightly. His eyes shine with determination. He looks at the sea and the distant storm. He knows the next trial will be harder, but he feels ready. His heart is strong and his mind is sharp. The mentor watches him and feels hope. The journey will test them, but it will also shape them into heroes. The sun rises again, and the waves sparkle like jewels. The boy feels a new courage inside him. The sea is alive and full of stories. They sail onward. Together, the future waits beyond the horizon, and the adventure of a lifetime has only just begun. The ship moves slowly over the waves. The boy holds the crystal tightly and feels its energy pulse through his hands. The wind grows stronger and the sea begins to roar. The mentor stands at the helm, calm and steady, guiding them through the swelling waves. Each gust feels alive. As if the ocean tests their courage and resolve, dark clouds gather on the horizon and shadows stretch across the water. The boy watches and wonders what dangers lie ahead. He feels a mixture of fear and excitement. Every wave challenges him to stay strong. Every movement of the ship demands his attention. The mentor speaks softly about patience and observation, but his words are carried away by the wind. The boy listens carefully to the tone of the voice and the rhythm of the waves. They reach an island that appears like a dark silhouette against the sky. The shore is jagged and the rocks rise like ancient guardians. The boy senses the island hides secrets, waiting to be discovered. The mentor nods and they anchor the ship. The boy steps onto the stones, feeling the rough surface under his feet. Each step echoes across the empty beach and the silence is heavy with mystery. Inland the forest is dense and filled with whispers. The boy feels the air change, as if the trees themselves watch his every movement. Strange lights flicker in the shadows and the sound of water draws them deeper into the island. The mentor pauses often and points to symbols carved on the trunks. The boy notices that each symbol glows faintly as they pass. He wonders if the island itself is alive, or if some hidden magic protects its secrets. They arrive at a river that cuts through the forest. The water is clear, but moves with a current that seems to pull them forward. The boy hesitates, but the mentor smiles and gestures to follow. The boy steps carefully into the water and feels it move around him like an invisible guide. The river twists and turns, leading them to a cliff where the sound of falling water echoes like a song. The boy gasps and the mentor gestures to a hidden path. Along the edge, the path is narrow and carved into the rock. They move slowly and carefully. The boy feels the wind tug at his clothes and the crystal shines brighter as if warning him of danger. Far below, the waves crash and spray reaches up to touch the stone path. Each step is a test of balance and focus. The mentor remains calm and the boy learns to trust the rhythm of the journey. At the end of the path, they find a cave. The entrance is hidden behind a waterfall and the sound of water masks all other noises. The boy feels a strange energy emanate from inside. The mentor kneels and places a hand on the ground, signaling to be cautious. They step inside, and the light from the crystal illuminates the walls. Strange drawings and carvings cover the stone surfaces. The boy studies them and realizes they tell stories of heroes who came before them and lessons they left behind. The cave opens into a large chamber, and the air is cool and still. The boy feels a presence watching, but sees nothing. The mentor studies the carvings and gestures to follow a path that winds deeper into darkness. The boy feels a thrill of excitement and fear. Each step seems to echo with the weight of history and the whispers of those who faced trials long ago. Deeper inside, they find a pool of water reflecting the crystal-esque light. The boy leans closer and sees visions moving across the surface. People and places from far away appear and disappear as if showing him glimpses of the future. The mentor warns to observe but not to be distracted. The boy focuses and understands that the pool teaches lessons through visions. Each vision shows courage, wisdom, and patience as keys to facing challenges. Suddenly, the ground trembles slightly, and a hidden door opens on the far side of the chamber. The boy feels the crystal pulse stronger than ever. The mentor gestures and they move forward carefully. The door leads to a spiral staircase descending into the unknown. The boy's heart pounds with anticipation and a hint of fear. He knows the staircase leads to the next stage of the journey where greater tests await. As they descend, the air grows warmer and smells of earth and stone fill the chamber. The boy notices faint lights dancing along the walls like fireflies. Each light seems to respond to their movements, guiding them along the path. The mentor moves ahead confidently and the boy follows, learning to trust both the crystal and his own instincts. Every step feels like stepping closer to a truth beyond words. At the bottom of the staircase, they enter a chamber filled with objects from many lands. The boy sees tools, weapons, and artifacts glowing faintly with energy. The mentor explains that each object contains knowledge and lessons from those who came before. They study carefully, and the boy realizes that the journey is not only about reaching a destination, but learning from every challenge and experience along the way. A soft hum begins in the chamber, and the crystal vibrates in the boy's hands. The mentor nods and says silently that they must be ready. The river, the forest, the caves, and the visions were all preparing them for the trials to come. The boy feels stronger, wiser, and more determined than before. The adventure continues, but he now understands the path is not just forward, but also within himself. They leave the chamber and step back into the open air. The sun is setting, and the sky glows with colors that feel almost unreal. The boy looks at the horizon and senses the next challenge waiting across the waves. The mentor smiles and adjusts the sails. The ship moves forward, and the boy holds the crystal tightly, feeling the pulse of the journey. The night awaits with mysteries, storms, and choices that will shape them forever. The sea calls, and the ultimate adventure continues. The ship cuts through the waves, and the night is alive with the sound of the wind. The boy holds the crystal and feels it hum with energy. He glances at his mentor, whose eyes are steady and focused. The horizon is dark, but a faint light glows in the distance. They are heading toward a city that promises knowledge, allies, and danger. The city rises like a jewel against the dark sky. Lights shimmer on the towers and streets are full of movement, yet the boy senses tension beneath the surface. People move quickly as if hiding something. He wonders what awaits inside the walls, and whether the city will be friend or foe. They enter cautiously and are greeted by a guide who seems friendly at first. He leads them through winding streets. The boy notices subtle signs that something is not right. Shadows follow their steps and whispers brush against their ears. The mentor signals to stay alert. The city is alive with secrets and hidden dangers. Suddenly, the guide disappears, leaving them at a grand plaza. The boy feels a chill and a sense of betrayal. A figure steps forward, claiming to be a friend, but the eyes are cold. The mentor does not flinch. He studies the figure and signals the boy to be careful. Words are exchanged, and the boy watches as tension rises. The figure demands the crystal and threatens the boy and the mentor. The boy feels fear, but remembers the lessons from the forest, the caves, and the pool. The crystal vibrates in his hands as if guiding him. He realizes courage is not absence of fear, but acting despite it. He steps forward and meets the gaze of the figure. His voice is steady, and he refuses to give the crystal. The figure smiles and vanishes into the crowd, leaving questions behind. The boy feels the weight of responsibility, and the mentor places a hand on his shoulder. The city is not yet safe, but they have learned a vital lesson. Trust cannot be given blindly, and true strength comes from wisdom and courage. They leave the city through hidden paths and climb to a high wall overlooking the ocean. The boy sees the waves glowing under moonlight and senses the next challenge waiting. The mentor speaks softly and tells him that the trials are not over. Every place they visit teaches a lesson, and every encounter shapes the hero they are becoming. The wind picks up, and the ship waits below. The boy steps carefully down the cliff, feeling the pulse of the crystal in his hands. It seems to guide him toward the vessel. Every movement is deliberate and focused. The mentor checks the sails, and the crew prepares for the journey ahead. The sea is unpredictable and full of lessons yet to be discovered. As they set sail, the horizon shifts, and the night grows thicker. Shadows move across the waves, and shapes appear in the mist. The boy feels both fear and excitement. The crystal shines brighter, and the air hums with energy. They pass islands that seem to rise from the sea only to disappear again. Each island tests their perception and sharpens their instincts. Suddenly, a strange fog envelops the ship. The boy holds the crystal and watches as shapes appear in the mist. The mentor remains calm and guides them through careful observation and trust in their senses. Every decision matters, and one mistake could send them off course. The boy feels the weight of responsibility and understands the importance of focus and unity. Through the fog, they encounter another challenge. A series of massive waves rise from the darkness. The ship rocks, and the boy grips the railing. The crystal hums, and a path seems to appear among the waves. They navigate carefully, and the mentor teaches that every obstacle has a solution if they remain patient and alert. After the waves pass, they reach a calm stretch of ocean. The boy breathes deeply and feels a sense of accomplishment. The crystal continues to pulse as if rewarding him for courage and attention. Every lesson from the city, the caves, and the river has prepared him for this moment. The mentor smiles and nods, signaling that they are ready for the next stage. The boy looks at the horizon and sees the first light of dawn breaking. Through the darkness, it casts a golden glow on the water. The journey has tested them in ways they could not have imagined. Every step has built resilience, courage, and wisdom. The crystal vibrates gently, as if encouraging him forward. The ship moves steadily toward the next challenge. The city behind them fades into the distance. The boy feels stronger and more prepared than ever. The mentor watches him with pride, and the crew follows with trust and determination. The adventure is far from over, but each step brings them closer to the ultimate truth and the hero they are destined to become. The waves whisper secrets of the future and the wind carries echoes of lessons learned. The boy holds the crystal and feels connected to every trial they have faced. Every shadow, shape, and whisper has a purpose guiding them toward the ultimate journey. The sun rises higher and the horizon stretches endlessly. Ahead they sail onward, ready to face the next trials and mysteries waiting just beyond sight. The sun rises over a strange island. The waves lap gently at the shore, but the air feels alive with secrets. The boy holds the crystal and senses a powerful presence ahead. His heart beats faster with anticipation. The mentor watches him carefully, knowing that the next trial will test more than courage. They step onto the island and the ground feels warm under their feet. Strange plants sway, though there is no wind. The boy notices symbols carved into the rocks. They glow faintly as they approach. Each symbol seems to tell a story of heroes and challenges. The mentor nods and gestures to follow a path leading into the forest. The forest is dense and shadows stretch like hands across the trail. The boy feels a chill, but the crystal hums softly, guiding him through the darkness. They pass streams that glitter with strange light and trees that seem to whisper messages of wisdom and caution. Every step requires attention, patience, and focus. In the heart of the forest, they find a circle of stones. The stones are ancient and each glows with a different color. The boy approaches and sees visions reflected in the surface of the stones. They show people making choices, some brave, some foolish, some kind, and some selfish. The boy realizes the visions are lessons. The mentor explains that true power is not strength alone, but wisdom, compassion, and careful choice. Suddenly, the ground trembles lightly and a hidden path opens between the stones. The boy steps forward, guided by the crystal. Each step feels heavier than the last, but also filled with purpose. They follow the path to a large chamber carved into the hillside. The air is cool and filled with the hum of energy. Inside the chamber they find objects from many lands. Tools and artifacts glow faintly with knowledge. Each item seems to hold a story. The boy reaches for one and sees a vision of a city in danger. The people are confused, scared, and in need of guidance. He feels the weight of responsibility, and the mentor nods approvingly. The crystal pulses as if confirming the lesson learned. They move deeper and discover an altar with a crystal pedestal. A faint light radiates from it, and the boy feels a surge of understanding. The mentor gestures for him to observe carefully. The crystal is not just a tool, but a guide showing that the challenges ahead require leadership, courage, and empathy. The boy feels ready to face what comes next. Suddenly, shadows appear along the walls. The boy feels a wave of fear, but the crystal glows brighter. He realizes that fear is only part of the journey. They move forward carefully, and the shadows shift into shapes of previous heroes. Each figure seems to nod in approval, as if passing on strength and courage. The chamber opens into a great hall, and in the center stands a figure cloaked in light. The figure speaks without words, and the boy understands that the looming disaster is not a force outside, but the result of choices made by people who have forgotten wisdom and unity. The mentor guides the boy to step forward, and the crystal shines brightly. They receive visions of the kingdom ahead, people divided by fear and greed, struggles caused by neglect and pride. The boy feels both sorrow and determination. He understands that the next stage is not only about physical challenges, but guiding others toward courage and unity. The mentor explains that heroes shape the future by inspiring hope and action. The hall trembles and a passage opens toward the sea. The boy and mentor step through, and the island seems to release them, as if acknowledging their readiness. Every lesson from the forest, the chamber, and the visions has prepared them for the ultimate trial. The crystal pulses in rhythm with their steps, and the boy feels a deep connection to the journey. They return to the ship, and the waves sparkle. Under the rising sun, the boy holds the crystal and looks to the horizon. The kingdom waits, and the challenges will be greater than anything faced so far. He knows the journey will demand courage, wisdom, and the ability to inspire others. The mentor adjusts the sails, and the crew prepares for what lies ahead. The boy feels a surge of strength and clarity. The lessons of the island have opened his mind and heart. He understands that true heroism is not fighting alone, but empowering others and making choices guided by wisdom and compassion. The crystal hums softly, as if agreeing. The ship moves forward steadily. The wind carries a promise of adventure and discovery. The boy looks at the horizon and sees the faint outline of the kingdom in need of guidance. He feels ready for the final stages of the journey. The mentor stands beside him, and together they face the sea, the skies, and the trials waiting just beyond sight. Every wave, every shadow, every light has shaped the boy. The crystal glows with steady energy, reminding him of all they have learned. The journey is far from over, but he is no longer the same. The adventure continues. With purpose, courage, and hope leading the way, the ultimate challenge approaches, and the boy is ready to guide the kingdom toward a new beginning. The kingdom stretches before them far and wide. The boy holds the crystal and feels its energy hum through his hands. The mentor stands beside him, calm and ready. The people below are anxious, afraid, and unsure. They do not see the storm that can destroy everything, but the boy feels it in the air. The ship moves closer to the shore, and the wind picks up the waves, dance like giants, testing their resolve. Every step toward the kingdom feels heavy yet purposeful. The boy looks at the crystal and understands that this final stage will demand everything: courage, wisdom, and unity. As they step onto the land, the people gather, watching silently. Their eyes are full of fear, but also curiosity. The boy walks forward, guided by the crystal. He sees divisions, arguments, and confusion everywhere. The mentor gestures, and they begin to speak to the people in a voice calm, firm, and inspiring. Slowly, the crowd listens, and a quiet energy spreads like ripples across the kingdom. Challenges arise as leaders and citizens struggle to trust the guidance offered. The boy steps forward and demonstrates courage, not by fighting, but by showing clarity and hope. Every action he takes is deliberate and thoughtful. The crystal glows brighter with each decision, as if affirming the right path. A sudden obstacle appears. A bridge collapsed, blocking the main road. The boy sees people frightened and unsure of what to do. He steps forward and organizes them carefully. Teaching cooperation and patience, he shows that unity is more powerful than fear. The people follow, and together they rebuild a path that leads to safety and order. The mentor smiles and observes the boy, guiding with wisdom and empathy. The crystal pulses steadily, as if celebrating the lessons learned. The kingdom begins to transform slowly. Fear gives way to hope. Confusion gives way to determination. The boy feels a wave of accomplishment, yet knows the journey is not yet complete. A storm rises in the distance. The waves roar and dark clouds gather above. The boy holds the crystal tightly and feels a surge of energy. The mentor stands firm and signals that the storm is the final test. Courage alone is not enough. They must inspire each other to face it together. The people of the kingdom gather along the shores, guided by the boy. They form a line, holding hands, helping each other across rocky paths. The storm crashes against the land, but together they move steadily forward. Every step is a test of unity, trust, and courage. The boy feels the pulse of the crystal, guiding their movements and calming their fears. Lightning strikes nearby, but no one falters. The boy steps forward, encouraging every person to focus on hope and cooperation. The mentor assists where needed, and the crystal shines like a beacon above them. All the lessons from the forest, the caves, the islands, and the visions converge now in action. The kingdom becomes alive with purpose, determination, and courage. The storm begins to ease, and the sun breaks through the clouds. The waves calm, and the wind turns gentle. The boy looks around and sees the kingdom united and ready to thrive. The people smile, wave, and cheer. Their fear is replaced with hope, their doubts replaced with trust. The mentor nods approvingly, and the boy feels a sense of achievement. Stronger than any he has known, they climb to a hill overlooking the kingdom. The boy holds the crystal and raises it high. The light spreads across the land, touching every corner. Every person sees it and feels a wave of calm courage and unity. The kingdom has been saved not by force but by leadership, guidance, and heart. The ultimate trial has been passed. The boy looks at the mentor, and they share a silent understanding. The journey has changed them both. The mentor guided the boy, and the boy guided the kingdom. Together they have learned that true heroism lies in wisdom, compassion, and courage. The crystal hums softly, as if agreeing. The ship waits at the shore, and the boy and mentor prepare to continue their journey. The horizon stretches endlessly ahead. New adventures, new challenges, and new lessons await. The boy feels ready for whatever comes next. The kingdom is safe and stronger than before because they face the trials together. The sun sets, casting golden light over the kingdom. The waves sparkle, and the people wave as the boy and mentor sail away. The adventure has reached an epic conclusion, but the story of courage, unity, and heroism will continue. The crystal pulses gently in the boy's hands, reminding him that the journey shapes heroes in every step. The boy looks at the horizon and feels hope, determination, and readiness. The mentor adjusts The sails and the ship move steadily forward, the kingdom fades behind, but the lessons learned remain alive in every heart. The ultimate journey has ended, but the legacy of courage and unity lives on. The wind carries whispers of new adventures, the waves hum songs of ancient heroes, the boy holds the crystal and smiles, knowing that he is ready for anything. The mentor stands beside him, and together they face the endless horizon. The adventure continues in spirit, in courage, and in every heart touched by the journey.